6 cards have been spoiled for Part of the Mistveil, and just looking at these 6 cards alone, we can already tell that Part of the Mistveil is shaping up to be one of the most powerful sets in all of Flesh and Blood. Hello and welcome to the table. I'm your host, Team Wolf, and today we're going to be talking about, well, Part of the Mistveil and all the cards that have been spoiled for it so far. But before I get into it, I'm just going to say right now, I'm recording this the morning of April 3rd, so it's gonna, this video is coming out tonight, and if any more cards have been spoiled prior to this video coming up, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna have enough time to talk about them, but if they have come up, which I doubt any more cards have been spoiled at this point, they're right there. But so anyways, with all that aside, let's start things off by talking about the cycle of instants that got spoiled last night, the Sacred Arts. So each of these instants, meaning they can't block for anything, cost 3 resources, are blue, so they pitch for 3 resources, are legendary, meaning that you can only have 1 copy of them in your deck, and they all read, choose 1. But if you played another blue card this turn, instead you choose 3. And each of these instants have 3 different effects, 2 of which kind of like are specific to the specific hero that the card's kind of going with. Like the Illusionist one is making 2 Spectral Shield tokens, and then putting a +1 power counter on all your auras you control with Ward. Not just the tokens, by the way, and I'll talk about that here in a little while. But then there's the Ninja one, which creates 2 Crouching Tigers, and it gives your Crouching Tigers a little bit of a buff for the turn. Then there's the Assassin one, which makes new tokens in your hand? I have no clue. But also, it's banishing 2 cards from an opponent's graveyard, which is really good for New's ability. But each of these instants all do a third effect that are the same. Transcending. So Transcending is here. What does it mean? No clue. Because I had a theory, and a lot of people had a theory, that it was like activating the ability of your hero. I thought more like it was going to be using Chi to activate an ability. But that kind of throws this little thing kind of throws that idea out of the window. So what does transcend mean? And I have a theory. I think transcending means taking a card either from your graveyard or your pitch zone, I'm not 100% sure which, and putting it into your soul. I still think it's going to have something to do with the soul. I still think it's going to have something to do with like taking cards from somewhere and putting it into your soul. But now I have a slightly new theory. Because I still think transcending is going to be the only way that you get Chi. So, I think if you put a red into soul, if you transcend a red card, you get 1 Chi. If it's a yellow, you get 2 Chi. And if it's a blue, you get 3 Chi. Because that kind of makes sense, right? But so, considering the fact that these turns where you're transcending are already to be so resource intensive, I think it just makes sense that you're going to be getting the Chi for free at the cost of taking a card from your graveyard, or I think more likely your pitch zone, and putting it away into your soul and getting Chi. Because you're already spending 3 resources to get these cards out that allow you to transcend. So I just think it makes sense you're going to be getting the Chi for free at the cost of taking a card and putting it in your soul and never seeing it again. But so, now knowing, like, having a general idea as to what transcend might mean, let's talk about the chakra cycle of cards. And these cards are very interesting because they're all on rate cards, right? But if you transcend, they get just a bit better. And I'm going to talk about these cards from what I think is the most powerful to the weakest one. And the most powerful of all of them, I think, is easily Wind Chakra. Because it's a 0 cost, Mystic Ninja, non-attack action that blocks for 3. And I think that this card and all of the chakras are going to be in a cycle of red, blue, and yellow. I mean, especially considering the fact that this set just cares so much about blue cards, I think it just makes sense for the cards that care about transcending are going to be in a cycle of like red, blue, and yellow. But so, if this card is printed in a blue, I think that card's going to be instantly run in Zen because he's going to be running Harmonized Kodachi. I mean, he's definitely going to be running Harmonized Kodachi, right? And Legend Story Studios is not going to be making a more powerful version of Harmonized Kodachi in this set, right? They've never done that before. They've never made a more powerful version of an already powerful weapon in the history of Flesh and Blood, right? Right? So anyways, I think Zen's going to be running Harmonized Kodachi, and if there's a blue version of Wind Chakra, well, that's going to be instantly run in Zen, not even looking at what this card does. But what does this card do? It gives your next Crouching Tiger attack plus 3 power, but if you've transcended, it's plus 5 power. And considering the fact that this costs 0 and allows you to get 5 damage for free, just at the cost of 1 card from your hand, that is a really powerful card right there. But then there is the next one being Tide Chakra. It costs 1 resource, and it blocks for 3, it's a red, and I think it's going to be in a cycle of red, blue, yellow, but it gives target Assassin or Mystic card plus 3 power as an attack reaction. So that's already on rate with the Spike cycle from Outsiders, right? So without the downside of only caring about attacks with stealth. Now to be fair, this is a Mystic Assassin attack reaction, so that is to a point a downside, but I don't think it's that much of a downside. But anyways, if you've transcended this turn, that attack instead is going to get plus 5 power. So nothing to scoff at here. 1 resource as an attack reaction for 5 damage, that is great. But I feel like the turns where you're going to be transcending are already going to be so resource intensive. I mean, all the instants so far that do the transcendy thing cost 3 resources. And I don't think transcend is going to be a thing that happens that often, only a couple of times in the entire game. Because again, I think it's going to tie into the fact that you're getting chi. It's going to be the only way you get chi. And using the chi abilities on heroes for the set are kind of really busted. So I don't think it's going to be happening that often, meaning that having to pitch a whole nother card to get 1 resource to use this attack reaction, I just don't think is good enough to be running it for the transcend part of the card. But I think the fact that it's 1 resource for 3 damage as an attack reaction, that is good. But I don't think it's as good as the Wind Chakra because it just costs nothing. Again, this card isn't bad because it costs a resource, it's just not going to be as played. Or it's not going to be played as often on the turns when you transcend. But then lastly, there's the Moon Chakra, which is a Mystic Illusionist instant, red, blue, yellow cycle, I think. But it costs 0, it's an instant, and it prevents the next 3 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. But if you've transcended, it prevents the next 5. So why is this the weakest in my opinion? This card is not bad. I think this card will probably be really good in limited. But I think that Enigma is going to be running so many things with Ward already, and she's going to be playing the auras that probably new auras with Ward in this set, but also auras with Ward from Dynasty, maybe even the auras with Spectra from Everfest. I really hope not. But I think with all of this damage prevention already getting run in the deck, I just don't think this card's good enough to really be put in the deck. I mean, yeah, sure, it prevents 3 damage, which is on rate, but it can sometimes prevent 5. But again, transcending is going to be a really resource-intensive turn, and I feel like you're going to be transcending more often on your turn than on your opponent's turn. So I just don't think this card's going to be good enough for you to really take advantage of it, the transcend side of it. But I don't know, leave a comment down below if you disagree with anything that I said, if there's anything else you want to add. Again, leave a comment down below and tell me your thoughts. But with all that aside, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, it's completely free, you won't regret it. And with all that aside, see you next time everybody, enjoy Part the Mistveil.